I'm Ted Daniels. I live in Dames Quarter. I'm originally from Winona all my life. I've lived here. I'm a fifth generation skipjack captain, and my son here, if he gets to the helm, will be the sixth. But I've lived here all my life. I've built houses. I've built boats at a boat plant, local boat plant in Salisbury. I've worked on the water all my life, and on the boats, the wooden boats. I worked at a local boatyard. I'm a shipwright. Is how I'm titled, self-employed shipwright. I'm also a blacksmith on the dredges and all.
My name is Ryan Bauer. I moved down here about 6 or 7 years ago from Baltimore, Maryland. I love helping out on the water. I help him out at the railway, fixing all the boats up and painting them and sanding them down.
For me, it's the rake of the mast. I always determine the skipjack. A lot of people argue. They look out across there. That's a pungy. That's a bug eye. That's a sloop. No, our mast is laid back. The rake of our mast, that's a skipjack. It essentially makes the boat shake just like a duck. If you would look at the bottom of a skipjack. And you know what a duck does? He just floats on top of the water and just takes the waves. He doesn't waller in it or anything. He's on top of the water. But the bow certainly cuts, with the clear water and all, certainly cuts a lot of waves. That shape, which they would call it my dad's got it. It's a Deltaville. It's a Virginia bow, and as opposed to the flare bows and all that, which really cuts the waves and stays right out on top if you watch them boats go in rough water or even half rough water. But I think the shape of the skipjack really give her the ability to work in the Chesapeake with it, let's say up to 5 or 6 foot swells comfortably, Every year you can count on replacing both bags in your dredge, but usually the frame is built of, good enough stuff that it'll take the stones and all the pounding that you're doing and the hauling and coming across the iron is big wear on the dredge. When that bag tightens up and gets a little coating in there, stuff steady blowing in there, the shells ideally just blow out. I'm sure you lose some oysters, but you're not going to lose many. But the mesh tightens up, so your gaps like that. It won't be just flopping like that, It's going to be a lot of tension, a lot of weight, and stuff blows over top out the big mesh, and the bottom it'll hold it. And the chain bag certainly with the 2-inch rings will hold everything, You'll seldom see a Ryan that wants to be a waterman, that wants to work that hard, that has been there with the sea nettles and crabs and with the mud and wants to go back. He wants to go get back on his knees on a dredge boat. It's hard work. It's real hard work. You got it. They used to say a strong back and a weak mind, but that'll work if you want to go oystering.
To me, it's easy. It's fun. It's a fun job, and like they say, if you have fun what you do, you never work a day in your life. So from where we work, I can be out and just look straight and look at everything I've walked on. It's kind of cool looking at it because you're out floating on the water and looking at everything you've combed and looked at and walked around, helped people.
Catch a lot of different stuff in the dredge, but old civilization's long gone. That's what I'm looking for, and they're looking for oysters. And loved it. Loved treasure hunting. Arrowheads. I had the biggest collection of arrowheads around. I consider myself the amateur most archaeologist around here. But I found a dinosaur bone, whale bones in Cambridge in the chop tank. Every little thing just took me further. To books, to reading, to learning. Just a passion. And that's a skipjack is my pride and joy. So. That's what we were, this whole community, all the stained glass windows, everything in the churches, all the houses, all the bricks that were laid in the 1800s and early 1900s come off of these skipjacks. All the families were fed by them. I work on a boat that's built in 1891 and still sailing on the Chesapeake. It's the last remaining sailing vessel that works commercially on the Chesapeake Bay and in Maryland. I'm not sure, if not in the world, as far as being a commercial oyster boat. I love my life as a waterman. I like carry on the heritage somehow. And I got 2 boys right behind me. So, it's going to be on their shoulders.